Okay, we've been analyzing the lies that we've selected. We've gone through a number of questions. Now we're going to ask a little bit more difficult question to answer. This question is, where did the lie come from? What are its historical roots? So let me give an example. The lie, man is merely a product of purposeless process of evolution. That has its historical roots in the research and the writing of a gentleman named Charles Darwin, whom most of you will be familiar with. He's a famous 19th century English botanist. And he wrote a book, and it was called On the Origin of Species. And that book has since become a classic. And as I said earlier, that theory of his, the theory of evolution, is now taught as a fact throughout the world. So we can look at that lie, and we can go back and trace its roots historically back to the writings of Charles Darwin, and even further back to the kind of milieu that he was writing in at the time. As Darrow said when he was teaching the session, The Power of Story, ideas travel through time. They tend to originate with prominent thinkers, with philosophers, with religious leaders hundreds of years ago. Yet they can spread over time to impact entire cultures and civilizations. And this will tend to follow a certain process. These ideas may originate with individuals, but very often it will be artists and musicians who are the first to pick up on the new ideas, and they will begin to spread these ideas and to translate them. And from that point, the cultural elite, the leaders of the society, will pick up the ideas. They're leaders in institutions, education, business, government, and as a result, they will begin to institutionalize the ideas or the lies. And once they're institutionalized, once they become part of the fabric of a culture at that level, then everyone is impacted. And so everyone may be impacted by the ideas of a man who had died hundreds of years ago, and they have no idea that they're being impacted or influenced in such a way. Personally, I have to tell you, I love history. And I love particularly the history of ideas. I also am very aware that most people don't. So perhaps you have no idea what the roots of the lie that you selected are, where it comes from. Some of these lies have very ancient religious origins. That's okay, but I do want to give you this as a challenge. Take time to think about the origins of that lie. It came from somewhere. And it does help us to counter the lies if we know something about its origins and how it has developed over time. But if you do have some ideas on the historical roots of the lie, where it originated, what I want you to do, again, individually or in small groups, depending on your situation, is just write those down. Write down the ideas or your thoughts on the historical roots of the lie, and do that now before the next video.